So morning we got two questions put by the opponent. How are the objects and their attributes? Page 7. Superimposed on the inner self, which is not itself an object. When the self is not an object, it is formless and qualityless. A form is given to a substance, and when a substance is there, then only we can have some qualities. So these things are not there. So how it becomes an object of superimposition? It is on the things that are before one that other things are superimposed. And you say that the inner self, which is never an object of the notion, you is not an object, is not perceptible. And most of the persons, they superimpose an object on the other objects which they see before them. But it is on the things that are before one, other things are superimposed. And you say, that is, as a proponent, you are telling inner self, which is never an object. Of the notion you means here the outside object. So it can be never you, the self. That means this much you have to understand. It was never an object. So superimposition is not possible. That what opponent says. Now he says, this is being explained. It cannot be said that the inner self is not perceptible in any manner. For it is the object of the notion of I. It is the object of the notion of I. When we say I, that is, we are combining the mind and the Atman. So, the Atman is not having form, it is not having any qualities. But when you say I, for the I, the object is Atman. How? You see, the I is already superimposed. Mind has been superimposed on the Atman. Then only you can say I. So, whenever you say I, for that knowledge of I, Atman is the object. That's why you say, you cannot completely say that the Atman is objectless. For superimposition, not from the absolute plane. The Atman is becoming an object of the notion I in the relative plane, but in the absolute plane, it is not an object. When objects cannot enter into it, how can you call it an object? From the absolute standpoint of view. Inner self is known to exist owing to its being immediately present. Here, for a proof which all the philosopher, all the doctrines they accept, the first valid proof is called pratyaksha, direct perception. So, even for that direct perception, inner self is known to exist owing to its being immediately present. When the inner self is present, when you say I, after superimposing the mind on that, then only you can have the direct perception. That means already superimposition was there. And then to have the proof of direct perception, first you should be present. When you are not there, what direct perception you will have? That's why we say in samadhi, the knower, known and knowing has been dissolved. No direct perception, no object, nothing. So, and the inner self is known to exist owing to its being immediately present. There is no rule that is only on an object that is before one that another object is to be superimposed. There is no rule to that effect which we have told. An object should be there in the front, and on that only you have to superimpose. Like that there is no rule. In spite of the ether not being an object of sense perception, everybody says ether is there. The all-pervading space is there. But who is seeing that? Nobody is seeing. But the children say, the sky is blue, it is dirty, all these things. That means, though it is not having form, it is existing as a substance. But here the Atman is beyond. You cannot tell it is a substance, but because of the superimposition of the mind, they are very near. Where the Atman is there, there only mind is there. The Angustamatra Purushontara. So, because of the nearness of the mind, not the Atman. Atman is everywhere. It is near to everything. It is near to you. You can very easily realize. But the nearness of the mind, because of the nearness of the mind, you have superimposed that mind on the Atman. And though it is not having any form and qualities, you say I. Otherwise, I am. This existence you cannot feel. If you don't superimpose the mind on the Atman, you cannot utter I. Because after superimposing the mind Atman on the Atman, then alone you can tell I. So, we heard, what is that? I am that I am. Who says? Moses. When first he saw the 10 Commandments, he heard the 10 Commandments after going so far on the hillock. So, afterwards what he says? I am that I am. That means, I am not different from that. But where from this I am, where from this existence has come? That is the existence of the Atma. So, in spite of the ether not being an object of a sense perception, ignorant people superimpose, place, that, etc. on ether, on it. In this way, the superimposition of non-self on the inner self. Non-self on the inner self. That is, which is different from the self, is non-self. That has been superimposed. Learned men regard this superimposition as avidya. So from here, I have taken that pratyagadhyasa. If you see in the sub-commentary, you will find some indication of this pratyagadhyasa, not here. When you see the sub-commentary for this, you can understand what is pratyagadhyasa. This is Swami Gambhiranji. So, learned men regard this superimposition as avidya. This superimposition, what is this superimposition? Pratyagadhyasa. That is something on the self. After that, whatever it comes, it is paragadhyasa. Pratyak means inner, innermost. Parag means outer, that which is not inner. Whatever is uttered besides the I, it all comes in the, it becomes mine. Then it becomes paragadhyasa. So, some of the scholars, they say, only we heard 8 superimpositions. We heard only 8 superimpositions. Where from you got the other 2? They say. Then I quote this one from the sub-commentary. There it clearly says, learned men regard the superimposition as avidya. Ascertainment through discrimination of the true nature of a thing, they say, is avidya, is vidya. That is knowledge. So, when the very superimposition of the mind is called avidya, then what you call vidya? When it is ignorance, what you call as knowledge? That he is telling. Ascertainment through the discrimination of the true nature of a thing, they say, is vidya, knowledge. So now again we are getting the word here, discrimination. So where you have to start the discrimination? From here. Self and non-self. Non-self is mind, self is consciousness. So from here you have to start discrimination, not from somewhere else. Such being the case, the thing on which superimposition takes place is not in the least affected by the evil or good caused by the superimposition. So, this being the superimposition, that the effect of the evil or good caused by the superimposition in no way affect the self. The mutual superimposition of the non-self and the self, that is called avidya. So, that's why morning we have expressed self on the non-self and the non-self on the self. Then we have to go to samsargadhyasa and swarupadhyasa. All conventional and scriptural activities is the basis on which rest all the practical distinctions between means of knowledge and objects of knowledge, all conventional and scriptural activities, and all the scriptures consisting of injunctions and prohibitions showing the path of liberation. So, on this superimposition, taking it granted as ignorance, all the relative and the scriptural activities are going on. Without this superimposition of I, nothing is there. No Vedas, no scriptures, no rites, and no activities. That's why they say a realized person should act like matter, jadavat lokam acharet. You are a conscious man and you say, jadavat lokam acharet. How is it possible? That means not getting attached to anything, even the body, mind and senses, even the outer things. Just like a matter, he should move, he says. Jadavat lokam acharet. That is the for a Jivan Mukta realized person. Now another question is putting, how is it said that the scriptural text consisting of the means of knowledge, sense perception, and the rest are meant for those remaining on the plane of avidya? So, all the scriptural knowledge, scriptural text consisting of means of knowledge, sense perception, we see, we hear, all these things, and the rest are meant for those remaining on the plane of avidya. How can you say this? This is being explained when there is no possibility of one who is devoid of identification with I and mine. See? So, the whole of ignorance, when condensed, it becomes to I and mine. If you want to put what is ignorance, the I and mine is ignorance. Bas. With regard to the body and sense organs, to become a cognizer, the means of knowledge is inoperative. With regard to the body and sense organs, to become a cognizer, the means of knowledge is inoperative. Until and unless this I and mine is there, then only we can have the means of knowledge. Otherwise, it will become inoperative. For without participation of the sense organs, the means of knowledge such as perception cannot operate. So, what is the cause for the means of knowledge to become a cognizer? Or knowledge in the relative plane. I see, I saw, I know, all this knowledge. Then only after superimposing this I, he becomes the perceiver. Through sense organs, through the mind. Sense organs include the 10 outer senses, one as well as the inner sense, that is mind. That is also a sense organ, mind. It is inner, other things are outer. So, the means of knowledge through sense organs comes only through I and mind. For without participation of sense organs, the means of knowledge such as perception cannot operate. I see, I perceived, I am having a notion. I am having this conviction. All these things are included in avidya. The function of the sense organs is not possible without a basis. Now he says, here we have come to the Sanskrit or not? No. ఇక్కడ వరకా? 7. The function of sense organs is not possible without a basis. See, senses are inert matter because they have manifested through elements. They have been created by elements. So, sense organs are nothing but matter. Mind is made up of subtle elements. That's why it is also matter. But when a mind wants to work, when a sense organ wants to work and want to have the knowledge of something, there should be basis. Basis. What is that basis? That is the gross body. So, previously we have discussed the ghost, which is having only a subtle body, cannot enjoy anything. But the form of the ghost is the effect of evil deeds that he did previously. In this connection, we gave a story of a Swami who was staying in Uttarakashi. You remember? Afterwards you tell him. The ghost cannot do anything for itself. No japa, no meditation, no worship. Eating also is very difficult for it. It is having a very small mouth. That's why it enters to the body of others and just drinks the blood.
What Sanskrit name do we give to this type of ghost?
Ghost. Preta yoni. So, what is the present topic? If you wanted to do some action, if you want to think of something, if you wanted to do some relative action, a gross body is necessary. That's why the followers of logic, they say, what do they say? They say, bhogayatanam sariram. To enjoy the fruits of the actions, we should have a gross body. Without having a gross body, nobody can enjoy the fruits of actions. Nor he can realize. Ghost cannot realize. When it cannot do anything, in the same way, all the animals, we are having nearly 84 millions of animals. 84 lakhs, we say. 8.4 million types of animals are there in the world. How much we know, how many we know? But not even a single animal can realize. Only the capacity was given to the humans. They alone can. But some apavada, some special cases are there that we have already discussed. So a base, what is the base? Karya Karana Sanghataha. In Vedanta, what they say for a gross body? Karya. That is combination of gross elements. Karana, the 11 sense organs. One inside, 10 outside. So, Karya Karana Sanghata. Where you see the combination of the gross elements as body and the subtle machinery inside that is all Karana, including the 10 sense organs, mind and 5 pranas. But the prana, the vital force, the air outside is called breeze, the air inside is called prana. This prana is also made up of elements. So, inert. Mind is made up of elements, so inert. Everything is functioning only in the presence of consciousness. The function of the sense organs is not possible without a basis, like body. Nor does one becomes engaged in activity without attributing the notion I to the body. See? No activity. When there is no activity in the body, he will sit and meditate. And where is the activity? In the mind. So, nor can, when all these do not combine, the self that is unattached becomes a cognizer. And without a cognizer, there is no operation of means of knowledge. Without having this I and mind, no cognizer, then no means of knowledge. Therefore, the means of knowledge such as perception, means of knowledge in the relative plane, not in the absolute plane. So, means of knowledge such as perception, pratyaksha, direct perception. And the scriptures are meant only for those that remain on the plane of avidya. That is why we say all the actions, all the notions, that whatever we see in this world is only avidya, avidya, avidya. Now he is going to tell such a harsh word. Lord Shankaracharya is going to tell,
Regarding the avidya that is mentioned here, Adi Shankaracharya here speaks about mutual superimposition. He calls it avidya. But Swamiji told us previously when we studied the Mandukya Karika that there is mula avidya and then there is tula avidya. Is avidya that is mentioned here
is mula vidya.
It is mula avidya.
Tula vidya, just seeing a snake on the rope. When we see the rope, the tula vidya is gone. But mula vidya is there. That has to be removed.
Swamiji say that in Advaita Vedanta, when we say Maya, we mean avidya, we mean ignorance.
Yes.
Then Maya is the cause of the superimposition.
Yes.
So, and Maya is ignorance.
Yes.
And the superimpositions, which are the effects, also are called by Adi Shankaracharya ignorance.
Ignorance.
Does it call them ignorance in a subsidiary manner?
No, ignorance is not subsidiary. Here, especially in Vedanta, the Maya and ignorance are having the same meaning. So, only in the appearance there is Tula Vidya. The rest is only Mula Vidya or Maya. Only ignorance and delusion, illusion. You may call it illusion, you may call delusion, you may call ignorance, all carrying the same meaning. Tasmad avidyavad vishayani eva pratyakshadini pramanani shastrani cha. So he says, all these empirical relative actions and the scriptural injunctions followed, all are due to only ignorance, ignorance, ignorance. He says, then he says, paswadibhischa visheshat. He says, the ignorant person, he may be the biggest scholar of the world, but he says he is equal to an animal. Equal to an animal. What is said above is proper, inasmuch as men are not distinct from the animals and the rest. See translation? So, we had heard this sloka, ahara nidra bhayamaidhanancha samanametat pasubhinnaranam dharmohitesho adhikaha. So, what is more in the human beings? The discrimination and following the righteousness. Dharma. Or dharma, if you take as Atman, to think on the absolute. Besides this, is equal to animal. But here he says, in the relative plane, suppose he is going to give the example, illustration. If you take some green grass towards a cow, it comes to you. If you take a stick and you run behind that, so a realized person, some exceptional cases are there, say Adi Shankara or Jada Bharata or Dadhichi. But what about the rest? If you want to take a stick and if you want to beat him, he also will run away. He is not going to take your beatings. Just like the follower of Buddha, one follower was there. He was called Anguli Malika. You heard the story? Anguli Malika, you heard the story? So, he was a dacoit in the beginning, and he was taking away the property of everybody, and afterwards he used to kill them. And he take the right small finger, make it a garland, and he used to put on that. So what is this garland? Anguli. Whomever he has killed, he used to take away there and put it, make it a garland and wear. That is called Anguli Malika. When Buddha came, there was an argument between this dacoit and Buddha. Buddha was told, don't go that side. A big dacoit is there, he will kill you. I am not worried. Buddha says, and went, argued him, and made him his disciple. Now, you see, he has become a Buddhist monk. He has to go for alms here and there. When he was going, all the people were throwing stones on him. He was nothing to say because because of the saying of Buddha, now he has become completely calm. So, like that, we get very few. But in general, when you want to beat me, do you think I will sit here? I will run away. You are a scholar, you are having knowledge, scriptural knowledge, why do you run away? Paswadibhisya vishesha yatha hi paswade sabdadibhi srotradinam sambandhe sati. All the animals, they are having connection with ears and the sounds. Sabdadi jnane pratikule jate. That's why all the animals, they know. If you scold them with angry tone, they will not come to you. But with a loving tone, if you call them, they will come to you. We can see Ganapati Sachidananda, great monk. He was Dattatreya Upasaka. He used to sit in the fire and do worship because he is having some Chintamani. When you possess that Chandrakantamani, if you possess that, fire will not burn you. So 45 minutes you used to sit inside the fire and worship the fire. So how many types of parrots is having?
430.
430. Guinness Book record has broken. 430 types of parrots are there with him. And every one never goes from his side. It comes and sits on his head, is this thing, that thing, and he'll be going on feeding, and he has taught them all Mahavakyas. You can see the video.
I already sent it to you all.
See? Great following. 400? 432 disciples were there to hear Mahavakya for him. So why I am telling you is, if you show love, they will come to you. If you show anger, they fly away. This is common to all the animals. So we heard there is a book, Saints who have moved the world. Saints who have moved the world. In that, Saint Francis of Assisi comes. Saint Francis of Assisi. So all the pigeons used to go and sit on his. You heard? So, saints who have moved, only 6 saints he has given. The second one is Augustine, something like that. They give all their confessions, what they were doing, and afterward they become saints. So all the pigeons, they used to go and sit on him, around him. Paswadibhisya vishesha dedhahi paswadaya saptadivi sotradinam sambandesya saptad vijnane pratikule jate tato nivartante anukule cha pravartate. If it is against their will, they run away. If it is willing, it is according to their will, then they come towards you. Yatha dandodyatakaram purusham abhimukam upalabhya. If a man comes with a big stick before them, they run away. Pratibukhi bhavanti. Evam harititrana purna panim upalabhya tam prati abhimukhi bhavanti. So, if you take the green grass, the animals will be coming to you like horse, ass, cow, buffalo, goat, all these things. Yevam purushabhi vyutpanna chittaha. He says, the human beings, he says they are having vyutpanna chittaha. That means he is scholarly and he is having the discrimination also. Even such persons, krura drishtin akroshatah khadgodyatakaran balavatah upalabhya tato nivartante. A very strong man, a wrestler, big wrestler. But he is cruel. But he is cruel. Cruel. And he wanted to, he is coming toward that scholarly person with a big sword. So, he runs away, he says. Tad viparitan prati pravartate ataha samana pashvadhi purushanam pramana prameya vyavaharaha. The animals, they know, that's why they come to you and they go away. In the same way, in relative plane, for the valid proof that pramana prameya vyavaharaha. That is, pramana is valid proof, prameya, a thing to be known. For these two things, they are equal to animals. Pramana prameya vyavahare purushaha paswadvisya vishesha. What is pramana there? He gave for the animals. If you take the stick, they run away. In the same way here also they do. That's why he says it is equal. But he says paswadhinanja prasiddho aviveka purassaraha pratyakshad vyavaharaha. But all these animals, they cannot discriminate. Tasmat samanya darshanat utpatti matam abhi purushanam. He says, even the learned man, samanya darshanat utpatti matam api purushanam pratyakshad vyavaharaha tat kala samanati nischiyate. In that particular incident, though he is a learned scholar, the relative actions is equal to the animals. Shastriyet vyavahare yadyapi buddhipurvakari na aviditatmatmanaha paraloka sambandhadi kriyate tathapi. But the learned man, he wanted to perform some rites and wanted to go to heaven. Shastriya vyavahare, by following the scriptural rites. Buddhipurvakari. That means the scripture or the Vedas, they are not catching hold of your ear and telling you do it. Do you mean that the scripture will come and hold your neck or ear and tell you do it? No. It is the desire inside the person encourages him to do, hearing the fruits. So, he says, Shastriye Vyavahare Buddhi Purvakari. That means, what is Buddhi Purvakari? He knows by doing particular action, I will get such and such a fruits. Na avidatvatmanaha paraloka sambandham adhikriyate tathapi na vedanta vedyam asanaya jatitam apeta brahma kshetradi vedam asamsari atma tattvam adhikare apekshate anupayogat adhikar virodhacha. So he says, he acts because of ignorance, taking the support of the scriptures, because he wants to get some fruits like heaven, he acts. But he has not realized the self, avidatmanaha. Paraloka sambandham adhikriyate tathapi. He wanted to go to the heaven, that's why he is doing that. Now, tathapi na vedanta vedyam. In this connection, he refutes all mimamsakas, purva mimamsaka. See, by telling this much, it is a clue, it is an indication that they wanted to, why all the purva mimamsakas, followers of Kumar Bhatta, they say heaven is realization. So now he has used the word heaven also. They want to go to heaven. They say that going to heaven is realization. So by telling this, but when he says that he has refuted all the mimamsakas. Na vedanta vedyam asanaya jatitam apeda brahma kshetradi vedam asamsargye asamsari atma tattvam adhikare apekshate. Such a person, he cannot get the eligibility to know Vedanta. Adhikrita apekshate. Anupayogad adhikar virodhach. For him it is not necessary. And the eligibility to know the Vedanta, or the eligible person is different from him. Now let us see the English translation. What is said above is proper, inasmuch as he simply scolded everybody. Pasvadibhisya avisheshat. And he says again, what I told is proper. So, as long as you are possessing ignorance, as long as you have not experienced samadhi, you are equal to an animal. So don't get angry if somebody calls you an animal. In our side, when we don't understand, simply say, are you a buffalo? Are you a buffalo? They would enter Hindilo. Baisya buddhi. बैल बुद्धि नहीं, भैंसे की बुद्धि है क्या? बैल बुद्धि.
Like an ox.
God. Even they go to such sections, you are a donkey number one, they say. Because that you see, that is relating to the relative world. When you don't understand something in the relative world, then also you will be getting scolding that you are an animal. Then what to talk of the highest religious experience of Atman? inasmuch as men are distinct from animals and the rest. He says, what is said above is proper. When the ear, etc., becoming indulged in the objects such as sound, produce knowledge that is unfavorable. When the sound is unfavorable, that's why I told, if you call them with love and affection, they come to you. If you scold them, they will not come to you. They understand.
Think of an example, Guruji,
Ah.
in olden times when the kings used to go for a hunt, they used to take a lot of instruments along with them.
Oh.
So hearing that sound, all the animals used to run, and that's how the kings and all those people in the olden times, they used to run behind them and hunt. It's hunt.
For hunting, they used to go.
So hearing that sound, they run away. And the deer, if you play pleasant music,
It will
gets
come to.
attracted.
The objects such as sound produce knowledge that is unfavorable, the animals and the rest run away from them. And when it is favorable, they come closer to the objects. To cite an instance, when the animals see in front a man with a raised stick in his hand, they think he will beat it and begin to run away. But when they see him with green grass in the hand, they approach him. In the same way, men who are learned too, he says, move away when they see a strong man who roars with dreadful eyes, with a raised sword in his hand. Huh? Strong man.
And ఇక్కడ చెప్పాలి, only intellectually learned, not the person who has experienced the
That is true. That much they understand.
No, but because you have given an example that there are only few who don't run away, so rest of them.
That is those. See, here intellectually learned persons also they run away, and even the realized person, except few. No, you cannot expect that you want to beat him and he will stay there.
Then it makes a big question mark on the realization. He is talking only from the point of view intellectually learned people, not the person who has experienced the self.
Now we don't get any examples like that, you see. Huh? Mahatma Gandhi is not a religious person. If contrary is the case, they move with him amicably. Hence, there is the coordinate relation of men with animals as far as the men and objects of knowledge are concerned. So, the learned persons, though they are learned, they run away. Paramanji says we should not include the knowledge of
Or else he would have said instead of Yutpanna Chitta, he would have said Atma Jnaninaha.
Atmajnani. See,
Intellectually learned person.
the question of Atmajnani will not come here. All the scripture is only for ignorant person.
So better intellectually.
But what I feel is, even a realized person, if you want to beat him and kill him, he will run away.
No, Swami. That would put a big question on the whole Vidya, Swamiji.
No.
If he is experienced,
See,
take
that's
an
why.
example of Swami Shivanandi when someone has come to kill him.
That is
So,
true.
We don't get an example of a Atmagyani of running away when someone has come to kill him. All the examples are that they were present in the same place. Or else if you include even the Atmagyani, it will put a big question mark on it.
No, exceptional Atmajnanis are there, but general Atmajnanis, they run away.
No, then they will not be called as Atmagyani. Then they will not be called as Atmagyani.
All right, that is his view, this is my view. We are done. We don't want to discuss this. No discussion.
When we see the Atmagyani running away, he doesn't see himself this way. He doesn't think I am running away. He is not a doer.
And that way also we can say.
So, although we may seem running away,
He don't feel that I am a doer, I am a runner.
he doesn't.
In that way we can explain. It is well known that it is without any discrimination that the animals behave with regard to the perception, etc. From the similarity of the instant case, it becomes clear that even the learned men act with perception for the time being exactly as the animals do.
ఇక్కడ వ్యుత్పన్న చిత్తాకి సప్తమెంటిటీలో వివేకిన the person who discriminates, that's it, they vivekina.
So Viveki is very near to knowledge.
So there are 2-3 steps more. He is only discriminating.
Nahi.
Here in subcommentary for Vyutpanna Chitta, the subcommentator is not the Anandgiri. Here the Brahma Sutra subcommentary is by Govinda Anandagiri.
Ratnaprabha.
Ratnaprabha. He has written Vivekina, the person who is discriminating. Not he has experience, but discriminating. Vivekina.
The one running away.
The one Vyutpanna Chitta, the meaning for Vyutpanna Chitta, he has written Vivekina. So the person has discrimination, but not yet reached the level.
The discriminating person is almost on the verge of realization.
Okay, Swami, as you say.
No, that's why. No, I told that is your view. This is my view.
No, true. What you say is true.
Now, you see, what is the way to get out of the world? That is, he says, Shankaracharya says, discrimination. So, if you are having discrimination, you can overcome the world. So, you are telling he is having discrimination only and he has not yet realized. I say he is on the verge of realization. Discriminating.
Verge of realization, but he is not realized.
Bhavi, he will be realizing.
Yes, Swamiji,
In the future, he will be realizing. So, the discussions will be going on like this. So, we should not enter into the unnecessary discussions. You take whatever you want. When one does not know the relation of his soul to the other world, one does not become fit for the performance of the rites. So, in this connection, we already told that the follower of Purva Mimamsa, what he says, heaven is realization. Bas. That's why, enjoined by the scriptures, still the fitness to perform those rites does not depend upon the knowledge obtainable from the text of Vedanta. So, they are Avedanti. Na Vedanti is Avedanti. A non-dualist is a dualist. He is a dualist. Those who follow the scriptures and those who want to do the rites is a dualist. So he is not a Vedanti. Depend upon the knowledge obtainable from the text of Vedanta of the true nature of the self as beyond hunger, etc., unaffected by distinctions such as the Brahmana and Kshatriya transcending relative existence. So, the man of discrimination, he says, who has studied Vedanta, knowledge obtainable, he says not obtained, obtainable from the text of Vedanta of the true nature of the self, as beyond hunger, etc., unaffected by the distinctions such as the Brahmana, Kshatriya, transcending relative existence. So, he is not having any caste distinction, and he knows that this particular consciousness, Atman, is beyond hunger and thirst, beyond happiness and sorrow, and beyond, what is the other thing? Prana, the hunger and thirst is prana, happiness and sorrow is of the mind, and beyond death and birth, etc. means all the things you have to take. So, it says, of the true nature of the self as beyond hunger, etc. Hunger, thirst, happiness, sorrow, birth and death. All the things will be coming. Unaffected by the distinctions such as, so he is not affected by the distinctions, he is a Brahmana, Kshatriya, or Vaishya, something like that. Transcending the relative existence. So he says, he has transcended the relative existence. For not only the self-knowledge described above cannot be made use of in the performance of rites. Now again he says, what we have told about Vedanta is self-knowledge. So, the self-knowledge is not useful to do the rites. That also he says. Cannot be made use of in the performance of rites. But also it is opposed to the later. So, it is opposed. Vedanta Vedya Asanaya Jatitam Apeta Brahma Kshatradi Bedham Asamsari Atma Tattvam Adhikare Apekshate. So, to get the knowledge, he should go beyond all these things, caste and creed, other things, and you should know the Atman is beyond hunger and thirst, adhipakte. And this particular knowledge of the Atman is not useful in rites. That's why Anupayogad Adhikari Virodhachya. The eligibility of the persons are different. Prag tadha bhutat vijnanat pravartamanam shastram avidyavad vishitam nati vartate. So, before the dawn of self-realization, whatever he acts according to the scriptures, it is all included in ignorance. Tatha hi brahmano ejeta ityadini shastrani atmani. Now he says, a brahmana by caste should do the yajna, etc. Shastrani atmani. He is following the scriptures and on himself varnashrama. I belong to particular varna, Brahma, Kshatriya, Vaishya, etc. And I belong to the brahmachari stage, or vanaprasthi, or grihasthi, like that. Varnashrama, varna ashrama. Varna means brahmanas. Ashrama, the vayo. Vayo means age. Why he has given the age? Ityadini shastrani atmani. He says, a brahmana should do the rites. All right. And he has superimposed on him the caste and the stage of life. Then he says the age. In which way that is connected here? He says, in the scriptures, those who follow the rites, for them, yavad jivam agnihotram juhyat. As long as you live, so long you have to do agnihotram. And then, all right, from boyhood we cannot start. When to start? Then he says, Jata putra Krishna kesha agni madhadita. A man, after marriage, giving a birth to a child, and at the same time, all the color of the age should be black. Jata putra Krishna Kesha Agni Madhadita. That means in the young age, he has to follow the rites. How long? Till he lives. So, Brahmano ejeta. Varna is over. Ashrama is over. Vaya is over. Avastha. Avasthatraya means all this sleeping, dream, and waking, that also. Avasthadi Vishesha. That means early morning. Udite Juhoti. When sunrise is there, he is putting oblations. All these things will come. That is avastha. Vishesha adhyasamasitya pravartate. So, adhyasamasitya. What are all he has superimposed to do the rites? The caste, the stage of life, the age, and the state, waking state, all these things he superimposes. Then only he will be starting these things. Adhyaso nama tasmin tad buddhirityavochama. Now again he is coming to superimposition. What do you mean by superimposition? Atasmin tad buddhi. That means na tad it atat. So that which is not like that. On that you are imposing something like that. Atasmin tad buddhi. So the rope is not a snake, but you are superimposing the snake on the rope. Atasmin tad buddhi. That means which is not like that, on that you are having a knowledge of something else. Tathacha putra bharyadishu vikaleshu sakaleshu va ahamev vikala sakalo va iti bahya dharman atmani adhyasyati. Now he says, you see, Brahmano ejeta. Already 4 things he has already superimposed. The caste, and the stage of life, and the age, and then morning time. Besides that, what he is telling, see, adhyaso nama, now adhyasa has been told, tatha, tad yatha, putra bharyadishu vikaleshu. If his wife dies, or if son is died, sakaleshu vahameva vikala sakala. If they are there, he is very happy. If they die, he says, I have died. I am died. Sakale vaiti bahya dharman atmani adhyasyati. So these are all the outer objects he is superimposing on him. Outer objects, money, progeny, and then wife, etc. All these things he superimposes on him. Then he says, tatha deha dharman. All the adjectives that we use for the body. I am very fat, and I have become very thin. I am white in complexion. I am sitting. I am going. I am crossing. Langhami, all these things. So, outside objects he has superimposed, and on the gross body things he has superimposed. Now again he is telling about the sense organs. Mukaha, that I cannot speak. Kanaha, I cannot see. Badiraha, I cannot hear. I cannot walk. Libaha, all these things. Tatha antakarana dharman kama sankalpa vichikitsa साध्यावसायादीन.
साध्यवसायादीन, चिकित्सा अध्यवसायादीन.
चिकित्सा
अध्यवसाय.
अध्यवसाय. Adyavasaya is determination. So, now he is telling, he has first given the outside objects, then the gross body, then senses, then he is giving how they superimpose the mind, antakarana dharman, kama, desire, sankalpa, starting the desire, vichikitsa, that is doubt, and vichikitsa adhyavasaya, conviction, determination. Evam aham pratyayinam ashesha swaprachara sakshini. So, taking the knowledge of this I, aham pratyaya, ashesha swaprachara sakshini. Actually, the knowledge of I is the witness. But Pratyagatmana adhyastam. All these things he has superimposed on the Atman. Tam cha pratyagatmanam sarvasakshinam. So it is the innermost self, it is the witness of all, but against that, in the opposite way, viparyena antakaranadishu adhyasyati. All these things he is superimposing on himself. Evam ayam anadirananto naisargiko adhyaso. So, this ignorance of superimposition, when it has started, nobody knows. Anadi. And he says, evam ayam anadi. Ananta, it is endless. When it will go, how many things he is having superimposed on himself? Ananta. Naisargika, it is natural to a person. Mithya pratyaya rupaha. It is only an appearance, undefinable. He is having he says, I and mine, all these things he is telling. So, when it has started, nobody knows how much ignorance, how many ignorances, that also we cannot say. Mithya pratyaya kartutva bhoktutva pravartakaha. Here you see, when he says kartutva bhoktutva, some schools are there like Sankhya, they accept in the Atman only bhoktutva. Kartutva they don't accept. The enjoyship they accept. But the Vaisheshika is kartutva bhoktutva. So by telling this, refuted them also. Sarvaloka pratyakshaha. This enjoyership and this doership, which is a superimposition and the knowledge of that, it is sarvaloka pratyaksha. Everybody knows, he says. It is seen in everybody. Asya anartha heto. Now this is most important, this last sentence. Asya anartha heto ho. This is the most biggest obstacle and useless one. No use in this. What? Ignorance and supreme. Anartha. No use of this. Prahanaya. To remove this. Atma ekatva vidya pratipattaye. So, the oneness of the Atman and Brahman. Sarve Vedanta arabhyante. Now he says, we are starting the all Vedanta. Yatha ayam artaha sarvesham Vedantanam tatha vayam asam saririka mimamsayam pradasrishyamaha. Sarvesham Vedantanam yatha ayam artha. That is, that everything is superimposition. So to prove this, Sharirika mimamsa, sarire bhava sharirika. That is Atman. That to discriminate that we are we are starting this book and we will show. That it says. Let us see the English. When one does not know the relation of his soul to the other world, one does not become fit for the performance of rites enjoined by the scriptures. Still, the fitness to perform those rites does not depend upon the knowledge obtainable from the text of Vedanta. So, to do rites, you need not have the Vedanta knowledge. True nature of the self as beyond hunger, etc., unaffected by distinctions such as Brahmana, Kshatriya. For not only the self-knowledge described above cannot be made use in the performance of rites. The self-knowledge, it cannot be used for the rites, but also it is opposed to the later. The scriptures that is operative prior to the dawn of self-knowledge pertains only to those remaining on the plane of avidya. Now he says, the scriptures that is operative, that is rights and enjoined, prior to the dawn of self-knowledge, pertains only to those remaining on the plane of avidya. So the scriptures, besides Vedanta, everything that before the dawn of the self-knowledge is only ignorance. For the scriptural passages such as a Brahmana should sacrifice or operate on the notion that on the self are superimposed such things as caste, stage of life, age, different conditions. Avastha is as conditions. To imagine a thing to be there where actually it is not is called superimposition. Atasmin tad buddhi. A snake is not there, but they think it is snake. As we have explained already, it is as follows. When one's son, wife and the like happen to be weak or sound, one is influenced by the notion. I am weak, I am sound, and superimposes on the self the attributes that are external to it, external to the whole body. Money, wife, children are the objects, not his own body. That is, besides the body also, that's why it is called paragadhyasa. Similarly, he superimposes on the self such attributes of the body as I am stout, I am low, I am lean, I am fair, I stand, I go, I jump, such attributes of sense organs as mute, you cannot speak. About the sense organs is telling, mute, one-eyed, eunuch, deaf, blind, I am, and such attributes of the internal organs as desire, imagination, doubt, determination. In the same way, he superimposes the internal organ that produces the notion I on the inner self, the witness of the entire modification of the internal organ and vice versa, the inner self. The all witness. So, he is superimposing all this on the all witness, superimposed on the internal organ and the rest, such as this superimposition, which is without beginning, anadi, no end, and natural, delusive, and productive of the notions of agency and enjoyership, kartutva, bhoktutva, in the individual self, and which is experienced by all. All the Vedanta texts proceed with the sole aim of destroying this superimposition. So, they proceed with the sole aim of destroying the superimposition, which is the root of all evil, for the attainment of the knowledge of the unity of the self. That such is purport of all the Vedanta texts. We shall show in the Sharirika Mimamsa. Sharire bhava Sharirika, that is Atman. So, in this text, it is called Brahma Sutras, Sharirika Mimamsa, Vaiyasika, Sutras, so many names are there. So here you just Sharirika, Sarire Bhava. That where is the base of the Atman? Where you will realize. Here only in this body. That's why he says Sharirika. So, we'll go a little further. Now, the whole Brahma Sutra is divided into 4 chapters, and each chapter is divided into 4 padas or parts. So altogether it comes to 16 parts. And in these 16 parts, we are having altogether 555 sutras. And as I told you, the Guru of Vidyaranya has, Vidyaranya Swami's Guru, he has divided the topic wise. Here it is chapter and parts. So, in each part some sutras are there. Altogether it comes to 555. But how he has divided? Into 191 topics. So under each topic he puts few sutras, but he has not explained a single sutra. Vidyaranya Swami's Guru Bharati Tirtha has not explained a single sutra. He just wrote two topics he has divided, Adhikarana, and for each topic he has given 2 slokas, one by the opponent, another by the proponent. And afterwards he gives very little condensed essence of the whole Adhikaran. So, in one Adhikarana, you will be getting many sutras. Because 191 Adhikaranas and 555 sutras. So, few are only having 1 sutra, few are having 2, few are having even 12, 13, like that, basing on the topic. Now, in this, I think, he has not given the Vaiyasika Nyayamala. You see, we have published Brahma Sutra, giving the Vaiyasika Nyayamala and the commentary and the sub-commentary and the meaning of commentary in Hindi with footnotes again. Because we want to publish the footnotes. Footnotes are the commentary and sub-commentary. In this, they have given the Vaiyasika Nyayamala also. And some of the publications are there. There also they have given the name of the Adhikarana and the Vaiyasika Nyayamala they gave. But here, he has given the Adhikarana, name of the Adhikarana, but Vaiyasika Nyayamala is not there. What is Adhikarana? The Adhikarana is having 5 parts. That is Vishayaha. What is the topic? And then what is the doubt? And what is the context? And then opponent and proponent. Like this. Iti ekam adhikaranam panchavaiva jneyam. So in one adhikarana, if you know these things, all the 5 parts of one adhikarana, then it will be easy for you to grasp the commentary. So, but if that sloka is there, I could explain. Vaiyasika Nyayamala. So tomorrow I will try to get them. Vaiyasika is see Vyasa by his whatever there is, Vaiyasika, Vyasa, and what is written by him is Vaiyasika. That he made into a garland of 191 topics. That is called Vaiyasika Nyayamala. Nyaya is aphorisms. So, taking the aphorisms of Vyasa, he made a garland with 191 adhikaranas. So, that is called Vaiyasika Nyayamala, written by the Bharati Tirtha. Now, he says, the very first chapter, we told it is having 4 parts, 4 padas. So, in the first part, he says, Spasta Brahma Linga Yuktanam Vakyanam Vicharaha. That it is not translated, you see. He has given. No, this particular. So, what the first part deals with, you see, we are contemplating on the Brahman. The Upanishads are having some of the sentences which clearly state about the Brahman. Those things we are discussing in this first part. That is called Atrapade. Spasta Brahma Linga Yuktanam Vakyanam Vichara. Linga means that which denotes, which shows the Brahman clearly. Those only sentences. Now he says, Jignasa Adhikaranam. What is the first Adhikarana? It is Jignasa Adhikaranam. Inquiry into Brahman. What is the use of inquiry of Brahman? Why you are telling? In which way it is useful for us? You say, Jignasa-adhikaranam. We have to inquire into the Brahman. When, how, why? You are having no time, that's why you have written something. Why should I read? All these questions will be coming. Then he says, Lord Shankaracharya has written the Adhyasa, superimposition. So, when you go to the Vedanta Mimamsa Shastrasya Vyachikhyasitasya idam adimam sostram. So, inquiry, Mimamsa means inquiry. So, he told, in the end, he told, all the Vedanta texts proceed with the sole aim of destroying the superimposition. So, he says, Vedanta Mimamsa Shastrasya. That, what is the scripture? It is Vedanta. And in that, we are going to inquire. Vedanta Mimamsa Shastrasya Vyachikhyasitasya idam. We wanted to explain. This is first sutra. Madhyam Sutram. Now you see, there is says to remove the superimposition, we have to inquire into the Vedanta. So, superimposition which is the root of all, for the attainment of knowledge of unity of the self. Now what is the fruit? Unity. What it is telling? The oneness. And you are already having all the qualities, Viveka, Vairagya, Samadhana. So, you are the eligible student, aspirant. And what is the connection? By studying this, I will contemplate on Brahman and become one with it. So, the particular book is serving you to get the knowledge of oneness, which you are not having now. Why you are inquiring? Because we are not having. That's why he says, what we wanted to explain, in that this is the first aphorism. Then therefore the inquiry into Brahman is the meaning of the Athatho Brahma Jignasa. Now, see, we are having here three words. Atha, Ataha, Brahma Jignasa. And another word you have to supply, Kartavya. Kartavya, it is not there. You should not write. We have to supply. You have to imagine. So, then, what is then? Atha. That after attaining all the eligibilities to read Vedanta, discrimination, dispassion, samadhana, sampatti and mokshatva. After possessing all these things, atha, then therefore, what is therefore? We already explained in the beginning of Brihadaranyaka. Lord Shankaracharya says, the highest results that you are getting through the rites and upasana is Brahmaloka. Brahmaloka. So, one who is having strong dispassion even to that Brahmaloka, he is only eligible to read Vedanta, he says. That means no worldly desire. Putreshna, Lokeshna, Vittya, nothing is there. And not going to heaven and enjoying, not going to Brahmaloka also. That also not necessary. Then he says you are eligible to inquire into Brahman. So how many people are there giving up everything and inquiring only into Brahman in the world? Ataha, that means the fruits of karmakanda as well as upasana are futile, knowing that therefore, that is therefore, ataha. Atha is after getting the eligibility, ataha means therefore. What therefore? Knowing that the fruits of the actions and upasana are futile, even up to the Brahmaloka, then Brahmana Jignasa Kartavya. Then you are eligible to inquire into the Brahman. Then what you will do? Kartavya, you have to do. What you have to do? The inquiry into Brahman. So, Kartavya, it has to be supplied from, not in the text, Brahmana Jignasa he left. Then we have to do. So we supply the word Kartavya. That he is going to explain. Tatra atha sabdaha anantaryartha parigrihyate. After that, he says, na adhikarartha, not getting the eligibility. He says, Brahma jignasayaha anadhikaryatvad. He says, atha, though you are having all the qualities, even then he says, you are not eligible students. Brahmana jignasa anadhikaryata. Kyum? Mangalasya cha vakyarthe samanvaya bhavat. Now, if you say atha, that is for as the Mangalacharana, if we take, that also in no way it is connected to Vedanta. The Mangalacharana, they do separately, in the beginning, middle and end. You cannot tell that this is for Mangalacharana used. And you cannot tell that it is for the eligibility of the student. Then, atha arthanantara prayukta eva hi atha sabdaha. So, with some other meaning it has been used. He says, atha sabda suddhya mangala prayojano bhavati. That for the good, because we are starting the scripture study, so it is for Mangalacharana. That namaskara or remembering Brahman as atha. Purva prakrita apekshayasya falataha anantarya avyatirekat. Now, purva prakrita apekshayasya, when you go to the Purva Mimamsa, rights, doing actions, doership, enjoyership, going and coming, all these things are there. That's why Purva prakrita apekshayasya falataha anantaryartha avyatirekat. So after that, that means after getting the renunciation and then knowing that these rights and other things are no use, afterwards also can be used. Purva prakrita apekshayasya falataha anantarya avyatirekat. Sati cha anantaryarthatve yatha dharma jignasa purvrutam vedadhenam nemena apekshitam evam brahma jignasa api. Now you say afterwards. Atha, we have explained from our side, that is getting the eligibility. But after discussion only we will come to that conclusion. He says, Adhado dharma jignasa. The Kumaril Bhatta has written. Atha means after reading all the Vedas of Karma Kanda, you have to start to do the rites. In that way, here it is not useful. You need not read the Karma Kanda of the Vedas. That's why he says, Yatha dharma jignasa purvrutam vedadhenam nemena apekshate evam brahma jignasa api yat purvrutam nemena apekshate tad vaktavyam. There you see, athatho dharma jignasa, there the study of Vedas are essential. Now the same atha the same word you are using. So there after studying Vedas, here after what you are starting? So you should tell after what? You should tell. Swadhyaya anantaryantu samanam. If you say after studying the Vedas, we have already told dharma jignasa kartavyaha. You have to inquire about the dharma. But you are here telling Brahma, not Dharma. Enquiry is all right, there and here. Atha also is there and here. But here you say, there Dharma Jigyasa, here Brahma Jigyasa. Then if you say, after studying the Vedas, it is common to both, then why you should bring instead Dharma and Brahman, why you should bring? See, there is a word Atha. So, the Kumaril Bhatt wrote, Atha atho dharma jignasa. After studying the Vedas, one has to inquire into the dharma, to follow the rites. So, if you say, Atha, after studying the Vedas, it is common to both. So, why the Brahma you should bring? Dharma is there already, Sutra. So, Atha, after that, what is after that you should let me know, he says, the Purum concept. Nanu, iha, karma, kya hai?
Karmavabodhananantaryam iti visheshaha.
But here you cannot tell after knowing the actions through the Vedas. We are starting enquiring into the dharma, that you cannot tell here. Na. Dharma jignasaya pragapi adhita vedantasya brahma jignasa upavavattehe. Then he says, it is not so. We need not enquire about the dharma. Even before that, pragapi adhita vedantasya, one who has studied Vedanta, he can start enquiring into the Brahman. Vedanta means all the Upanishads. That's why first you should read thoroughly at least 10 Upanishads. Then you should start reading Brahma Sutras. Otherwise, the opponent will be taking one particular quotation of the Veda, Upanishad, and the proponent will be taking another. So you don't know the context where it is told and what is the meaning. Then how you will understand Brahma Sutras? See? That is why he says, Adhita Vedantasya, one who has studied Upanishads, he can directly start Brahma Jignasa. So, he need not go to the Vedas of the rites and other things. He says, that's why Adhita Vedantasya Brahma Jignasa upapattehe yathacha hridayadi avadananam anantaryanima. Now he is taking, because in those days the injunctions are the rites of the Vedas and yajnas are more. So, all of them are the followers of the scriptural rites. We have to make them understand in their language, not your language. Your Vedanta they will not understand. Your Vedanta they will not understand. So, you should make them understand in their language. Previously, I told one thing. What? When Garuda got some ignorance, Lord Shiva has sent him to the crow, Kakabhushandi. Crow, Kakabhushandi. So, he says, Khaga jase khaga ke bhasha, khaga jane khaga ke bhasha. The birds understand the bird's language, so you go to the bird.
This yogi, the crow, is mentioned both in the Ramayana and in the Yoga Vasishta book.
Yes, yes.
So, this story comes from the Ramayana or from the Yoga Vasishta?
It is actually mentioned in the Ramayana, but the actual story that the Guru has cursed him. Guru was telling Advaita and he was taking to Dvaita. Then just like a crow, you are calling, so he become a crow. He has cursed that. Then even afterwards, because he says, I realized the form of Rama and the formless in this particular body, so I don't want to leave this body. Though even after realizing, he has not given up. But we heard where it comes, it is in the...
Ramayana, it's a different story actually. The Shiva curses him because he is a...
No.
Yes, Kakabhushan, Shiva curses.
Acha, acha. The Guru wanted to protect him.
That is
That he says that Shiva has cursed. That a Brahmin boy was there, and he was sitting in the Trembakeswar, Ujjaini, somewhere in the temple. Guru comes. He was not standing. So, seeing that it is the temple, Lord Shiva's temple, immediately Shiva got angry and comes out of this deity. And then this Guru pleads him, don't get angry. But even then he has cursed. No, at that time I think he has not cursed. Afterwards, afterwards what I heard is, afterwards the Guru and disciple, they started discussion. So, Guru was telling Vedanta and he was taking into the duality. Again and again. So, then he curses. That's what I heard, but I don't know the actual story because I have not, I have neither read Vasishtha Yoga or Ramayana. Zero in both.
Actually, he has a feeling that he knows more than the Guru. That feeling he already has it, but he doesn't express it towards his Guru. And then once he is sitting in the temple and doing the japa or something, so Guru comes. Because he is having the feeling that he knows more than him, he doesn't get up. So Shiva knows because he knows everything. So Shiva appears and he says that, okay, you have this kind of abhimana, ahankara. So I am giving you a curse that you become a crow. So then Guru pleads that anyhow he is my disciple, please save him. So says, I cannot take back the curse, but he will know all his births and he will gain in the knowledge of Rama and everything. Because my Ishtadevata, the Ishtadevata of Shiva is Rama. So he is a worshipper of mine, this Brahmana boy. He will get the knowledge of Rama. That is how.
And afterwards he don't want to leave that body. So he was saying. So when...
This is the story told by Kakabhushandi himself to Garuda. When Garuda asks him, how come that you are in this body, what has happened? So Kakabhushandi narrates him that I was this and this is how I got this body.
Now the present context is when I think Indrajit has thrown away the Sarpabana. That is, all the serpents have tied Rama and Lakshmana. Then the serpent's enemy is Garuda. So Hanuman goes and brings Garuda. As soon as he comes, then he gets a doubt. Garuda. See, when he is the incarnation of Lord Vishnu, how he was bound? If he is incarnation, he could resunder, he can break off all the bondages. And I have removed all these bondages, so I think some doubt is there. He may not be the incarnation of Lord Vishnu. Then he wanted to go and ask Shiva. Shiva was in a hurry going to somewhere. So he will not understand my language. And he is a bird, so he has sent him to the bird. Now, you see, in the same way, here, the proponent want to make him understand in his language. That is, they were doing all yajnas and yagas. In that, in the end, they used to take a goat or something, they used to cut, and then Hridayadi avadananam anantarya nemaha. First, they used to cut the tongue and etc. And afterwards, they used to cut the skin around the vapa, skin around the heart and then heart, something like that. So this series will be going one after another. They have to offer. Only little they have to offer, not the whole animal. So that is one after another. So hridayadi avadananam anantarnimam kramasya vivakshitatva na tathaiha. There in your rights, first you have to offer this, next this, next this. Like that, here no succession. No succession.
Hridayasya agre avadyatha atha jivaya atha vakshasa. So this atha word is coming next. So in the same way, iti avadananam krama jnanartha atha shabdavat ityashankya.
So first this, after that, like that it is coming. So in the same way, now if you wanted to start something, you should know Vedas. These rights, the first portion, then you should come. And if you read first portion and after means that we have already given aphorism, dharma, then he says, you see, even before reading the dharma jignasa, if one reads the Upanishads, he can inquire the Brahman. That he is telling, yathacha kramasya vivakshitatva na tataya kramo vikshita. There in your, say, scripture or in your rights, there is succession. But here it is not there. Sesha sheshitve adhikrita adhikareva pramana bhavat. Now this already I have explained. You see, ahara agnihotram kuryat. All through his life he has to do agnihotra. And when he wanted to go to heaven, Dasapurna masabhyam swarga kamo ejeta. Those who are doing daily agnihotra are eligible to do the yajna for heaven. And in the middle, if he gets some desire for money, then he says, go dohanena pasukamaha. He says, instead of bringing water in a particular vessel, in the vessel that which you are milking the cow, in that you have to bring water. Then the desire will be fulfilled of having the money also. You are doing, already you are having some eligibility. Then only you can perform a right to go to heaven. In the middle, if you are having some desire for money, then you have to bring not that particular part which is there, with the part which you are milking the cow, with that part you have to bring water. So, this is Sesha Seshi. Until and unless you are doing the rites of Vedas, then you are doing the right for Swargakama, then only this will be the part of it. So, like that, here no principle and parts. That distinction is not there. Where? To read Vedanta. In you it is there. Swarga kamo ejeta. Who will do? Ahara sandhyam upasita ahara agnihotram juhyat. One who is performing all through his life, every day agnihotra, he is only eligible to do this right for heaven. Then in the middle, if he gets like that, here it is not there, their succession is there. Here it is not there. Even without doing any rites, or even without reading all dharma, without doing any of the actions, if he reads Vedanta, he can inquire into the Brahman. So, Sesha Sheshi Bhava. Sheshi is Swarga Kama. Sesha is Godohanena Pasukama. So, these all things you see, when you read Purvamimamsa, then only you will understand. That's why we have to read all these things. Sesha Sheshitve Adhikrita Adhikare. He is already having some eligibility. Then the second eligibility will come to possess the money. Adhikrita Adhikare. Va Pramana Bhavat. Like that, no proof here to inquire into the Vedanta, Dharma. Dharma Brahma Jignasyo Phala Jignasasya Bhedacha. The Dharma, inquiring into the Dharma, you will go to heaven. But here the oneness. So the fruits are different. Here. Abhyudaya phalam dharma jnanam. You will be getting more property, more prosperity, all these things. And tacha anusthana apeksham. That for that you have to follow the rites and scriptures and injunctions. Because why? He says, you want prosperity. That is why. Nishchesa balam tu brahma vijnanam. Here the realization of what? One's own self. So no going, no coming, no removing, no getting. For this, no actions. Actions are not necessary. Tad brahma vijnanam na cha anushthanantarapeksham. So here nothing to do with the actions in the inquiry. Even without inquiring the dharma, we can inquire into the Brahman, those who have studied the Upanishads. That is the main class he has put. Rest we will do after. Om Purnamadaha. You want to ask something?
Yes, one small thing. Swamiji said previously in this lesson that in this lesson, maybe a little later, you will explain the meaning of Atha. After what? After acquiring the Adhikara, the Sadhana Chatushtaya. After that, he has the eligibility to study the text of Vedanta. And then, here he said, after what there is the eligibility to inquire into Brahman that is being taught here, after studying thoroughly the 10 Upanishads.
Vedanta.
So, the first thing that I'm asking is, Sadhana Chatushtaya comes first, then study of the Upanishads.
Yes. So, even to start Vedanta, that is Tattva Bodha, Atma Bodha, he says Sadhana Chatushtaya is necessary. Then you can do Tattva Bodha, Atma Bodha, Vivek Chudamani, then you have to read all these things. So everything comes into under Vedanta. But the other Atha, knowing the fruits of the actions are futile, he has turned to Brahma Jignasa. Then he puts question, we have to study the Vedas, then only we will be doing actions. That is not necessary here. Even without that, if you read Vedanta, you can inquire into the Brahma Jignasa, like that.
Swamiji says, studying thoroughly
Upanishads.
10 Upanishads with the Bhashya. What does Swamiji mean by studying thoroughly?
Thoroughly, besides these two, another two are there. One is Shvetasvatara, and another also is there. That so those things thoroughly in the sense with Upakrama, Upasamhara, Abhyasa, what is the meaning of the Upanishads? Because we think that Brihadaranyaka and Mandukya is more essential, but here he quotes Chandogya more in the Brahma Sutras. So until and unless you study thoroughly, those Upanishads, how do you understand the quotation? Now we are here, so we will explain. But afterwards you may forget the explanation of the particular quotations. So if you are thorough with all the Upanishads, then it will be easy to understand the context and the topic. That's why.